would like to request if you can throw some light on it. Srimati Sunita Gandhi, Founder Director, City International School, Lucknow.
Good afternoon, everyone. It's a pleasure to be part of this very eminent group of panelists, as well as the audience, that's you. It's always a challenge to think about education because it is a complex issue and nobody can say we got the answer right. So I'm glad that we have the opportunity by the organizers to make this possible today. A typical school cycle looks like this. We rush through syllabus. We rush through revision. Children rush through preparation. We rush through marking the papers. And we do the PTM. At the PTM, we do the judgment call, acha kiya, acha nahi kiya. And we say, thank God it's over. What do we do after that? We begin another mad exam to exam cycle. Is that not the truth? We spend something like 2 months, if not more, in continuous evaluation, in examination process, preparation, as well as the exam itself, and then marking of the material and so forth. Out of 9 months of active teaching, 2 months are gone to examination. What do we gather from the data that we collect? Do we use it? Obviously we don't. It goes to waste. We just do a judgment call. Could that data be used a lot better to inform our future teaching, for example? My good friend Dwight Allen, who coined the term micro-teaching, he used to say that after 20 years of teaching experience, a teacher has the equivalent of 20 years of 1 year experience. And this he was talking about America. And I think it's true for us as well. Teachers are not learning because there's nothing done with the data. That's one of it. We bring external training. How long does it last? Does it make it into classroom practice? Very rarely. So we're going through a lot of motion, but perhaps not a lot of result. So we need to think deeper about education. It's, we have great lofty goals with this panel, and obviously we can agree with those goals, social and emotional well-being of the children, nurturing of empathy, making them team players, problem solvers, creative thinkers, I'm sure, as conflict preventers as well. But if you look at education, the very goals, we don't have time for it anyway. All this exam cycle and all focus on examination. But even the goals of education are at odds with these lofty goals. For example, we want to make children collaborative players, team players. Where's the room in education for that? Okay, we may revise our furniture and make it collaborative like these tables are, but we still communicate in this particular way to our children, not just 1 day, 1 week, 1 month, 1 year, for the entire 14 years of our teaching. So how do we expect that children will become collaborative players even if we change the sitting arrangements? The problem is deeper. The entire education system is based on the premise of competition. Where is the room for collaboration? कहते एक चीज़ है, करते कुछ और है. कहना आसान है, करना हम cooperative learning ले आते हैं, and we feel so good about it. वो बच्चे cooperative learning कर रहे हैं, but will they become collaborative players? The entire thinking process, our mindset has to change almost completely to serve our children better in this 21st century so that we can focus on their well-being and their happiness, and we can create that emotional and social connect that we want so much. So it's a sea change. Think of this child, a 9-year-old who wrote once about herself, and I was really deeply affected when I saw this PPT with 2 slides. One of them was this one. She wrote, guess who? And it was, please make a note, the first letters. Kind, she wrote this about herself, kind, 1 in a million, marvelous, awesome, and lovely. So guess who? Kind, 1 in a million, marvelous, awesome, and lovely. Komal. This was her concept of herself, 9-year-old. What happens to this child? She's still excited about school when she goes through a few upper grades. We see little children coming in all laughing and happy, and after a few days of separation from their mother and the crankiness at the beginning, they're very happy to be in school. After 2nd grade, 3rd grade, they're dragging themselves into school. They go there for their friends, not because of your teaching or because of your a great education. Something wrong. We are losing our children in this old regime. And so there are fundamental issues we need to address if you want to bring about this kind of change. What is really at the core is this competition. And very early on, the children begin to learn, I'm not good enough in relation to another. And the whole world is gauging me by the results in my examination. It's not just exams, it's not just marks. It's also how, of course, everybody's asking about that. Achha. All right. So basically, I'm going to accelerate this because we're running short on time. Alfie Kohn, let's look at his book, Punished by Rewards, as well as the case against competition. A lot of alternative research going on, including one that I have done and last year's got published in the UK on ipsative assessment, which is basically the idea of competing with yourself. So can we do anything real about all these changes that we want? Firstly, our vision. We have to be very clear. We want well-being of every single child. We want evidence to bear on whatever we do. If we have the hunches, let's go create the evidence if it doesn't exist. But don't go just on hunches. A lot of good stuff out there on formative assessment, which is 0.79, effect size, collaborative work being more powerful than competitive work, project-based learning, real-life experiences. Here in all of your kits, you have got something I've made called Global Dream, which is to help children go and make somebody else literate. And what they learn in terms of life skills and values in the 1 or 2 months that they do this, 15 to 30 minutes per day, is phenomenal. What they will not learn in 14 years of moral education and such. Real life connection has great, great impact. And from emphasis on marks, people say, oh, sports karayenge, ye karayenge, wo karayenge, lekin usme bhi to competition. Bachcha kahan bhagega? So we need to focus on effort, and we need to properly measure progress against self, not against another. And that is small changes that can be done fairly easily if you think about it, and they'll bring about a huge change. Okay, so finally I want to say that we need to go back to the drawing board, and we need to look at the root causes, the 19th century education, how to redo it, the deeply rooted system, and how to modify this, and to create new models of education, demonstration value in what we do as educators, so that every child, not just a few, can feel I'm one in a million, marvelous, awesome, and lovely. I'd like to end with the beautiful prayer of the Alcoholics Anonymous, the Serenity Prayer, that says, God, grant me the serenity to accept the things I cannot change, the courage to change the things I can, and the wisdom to know the difference. I invite you to please participate in Global Dream, and also to continue to attend conferences. I have one coming up in October called Ed Leadership, and you're all warmly invited. Thank you.